Boop. All right. Cool. Mr. Michael. Mr. Michael Randle. So Michael just wants general feedback. He's professional too, so that's a little intimidating. What up, Flossie? How you doing? So right off the bat, I think you have stuff in here that's very old. I guess when I say very old, I mean like your skill range. When you start seeing stuff that's later in your portfolio and it's drastically different from the quality that you have in the beginning to the end, like that range, if it's really great, you should probably start removing some stuff. That's kind of where my portfolio is with some things. But let's see what's going on here. So professional 3D generalist. So being a generalist, I think one thing that needs to happen is you need to make sure that your PBR materials are on fleek, if you know what I'm saying. Hey, thanks, Mika. Thanks a lot, man. Yeah, so let's dive into these. So this is old enough that I think oh, this back detail stuff looks dope though. What? Hang on. Is that all in there? What? Oh, okay. That hurts my brain. Wait, am I reading this wrong? So one thing you'll notice is, wow, it is. That's crazy. So we just go up here. This stuff looks pretty good. Details are pretty nice. The balance of like, oh, hang on. We need Epic Pen here. So the balance of high detail versus like areas like high frequency detail versus low frequency detail, or areas where your eyes can rest and areas where your eyes are like details. Ratio usually is about 30 to 70. 30% high frequency detail, 70% like calmness. So like all this, which I can't do well. Hang on. Just scroll that up. So all this stuff here, this is all like low frequency. Areas for the eyes to rest. Right? And then the rest is pretty high frequency. This I guess I would include that. So the rest is pretty high frequency. So I think your ratio is probably about 50-50 or maybe 60% high frequency and then 40% low frequency. So watch out with those balances. The next thing I would say is making sure that you have like realistic expectations when it comes to high poly details, like, and spelling. I'm terrible at spelling, just so you know. 70-30 is goal, 70 chill, 30 hot, hot, hot. Yeah, so when I look at this asset, it's a pretty cool design. Even in the blockout, you can see where high frequency versus low frequency is going to be beneficial. So like this area here, you make that low frequency and you make these areas low frequency. Keep these really simple and the rest can be pretty detailed. And the detail tends to go in areas where you would expect like high frequency detail to go, is like these little joints. So like these little areas, or like in here and some of this. Maybe a little bit down here, right? Everything else can be pretty simple. Maybe a little bit there. That's all you need. The rest can be quite simple, like smooth, sleek design, exposing like high frequency details in the innards, if you want to call it that. This is pretty cool though. Like you definitely are having some pretty cool designs and understanding of shapes. So let's just continue forward. So I guess this one This one, I think let's see if we get some high polys in here. So without the textures, I would say the frequency is almost there. So in the inner legs here, like I think that might be fine. If you get rid of this one, you'll get that nice ratio where you have like the golden ratio of splits, if you want to call it that. This is a cool design though. Yeah, see, and on the underside, that's pretty cool to have that high detail. Oh, this is cool. I like seeing stuff like this. But I think where it gets crazy with the details is you add a lot of information in the material, which leads to high frequency everywhere in the end. Like the model is helping you a little bit, but like that edge wear is happening. Like if you focus the edge wear around the high frequency details area and lower the amount of like edge chipping and damage to be pretty sparse in the low frequency areas, you'll get that same feeling. Just gonna kind of dive through these. This one's fun. I like it. I don't think it should be on your portfolio just because like it doesn't feel of the quality that you would expect, I guess, in a professional portfolio at this point. Like I think because it's 3 years old, I guess is what I'm saying. It could be in your blog or like your backup wherever you put your older stuff. So this one's suffering from understanding of depth and where things are at and understanding of the space. So like you're not really sure which way to go. Like I guess because a lot of the details are over here that are quite unique to the rest of the space. That helps guide you. The patterns on the floor is the start of the right direction to go with things like that. And then when you look at your roughness image here, the roughness on the floor is pretty uniform. I would argue that like where this like painting material is versus this other material could have different roughness values so that you get like a more bang for your buck material separation and breakup. So the floor is pretty simple. Your AO is also being positioned a little strangely in the corners here. I heard a beep. Oh, geez, that curve's looking pretty good there. Other than that, I think there's a lot of what looks like low poly smoothing issues and like mapping of textures that looks odd, like right here. Let me see if I can. We're popping it out, guys. It's popping out. So like you can see this. Oh wow, hello line. So this line here just goes across the beams here. This stuff here. So that's a little odd. Giving reason and rhyme as to why. Reason and rhyme to the grime. So that grimy stuff, if there's no like vents and stuff here, it's probably going to be more down here. And it would like kind of break apart and lose interest as it goes up, right? So having like physical understanding of like how the materials dirty and age is going to be really important. It looks like it's supposed to be some paint chipping, and the way that the cloudiness is kind of goes against what you're trying to display. Let's see if I can focus on anything else. Now the pattern on the floor, I'll just do like a fast doodle. Usually like, so I'm not sure what this pattern right here is for, but think about it like composition or floor design. So if it's going like this, and then you have your entryway here, maybe that diagonal that you're trying to do here would go like this. But then you'd want to imitate it on this side. Right? And then all of this is filled in. And if you need like that little, if you want that little detail there, you can do like the really thin one. Because design-wise, everything needs to be leading into this door. Maybe there's even like information or signage, like arrows. And then maybe there's text right here. The strip of these colors will tell you like where you're going. Like what the space is. If this is like highly flammable stuff, maybe there's going to be a lot of warning symbols and patterns like that. But I think a lot of the stuff that you're suffering from in here tends to be from the smoothing and like how stuff is modeled, and then how the masks are generated on top of that modeling. Bam, what's up, dude? How you doing? How's things going, buddy? You good? So we got 5 minutes to go. Let's look at the rest of this stuff. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit here. This is also 3 years old. The scratching on here is like it's pretty generic looking, so be careful with like how you apply the scratches. Definitely look at reference when it comes to like metal damage. I get it. Thanks, man. Sub D Proxy, how you doing, man? Thank you for the 3 months. So this is pretty cool. This looks like it should be, so Homeworld, very low poly model built in 3D Studio Max. So I guess you're going for maybe like, because Homeworld RTS maybe, so like much smaller. So in that case, it's probably pretty good. And I can't even shrink it enough. Once you get out of that, I guess if it's going to be small like that, I would totally take this edge and smooth it. So you get the light wrapping around it, and the normal maps are doing all the work. I'll leave it at that. Details are pretty nice though. Oh man, this looks pretty cool. This is another case of a little too much on the details. And like the wear is like breaking into, oh, I gotta mute my Discord, hang on here. The wear is kind of breaking into the noise and into the noise range, and it's just becoming like difficult to read. Neural tracker, that sounds terrifying. It's called Ant. Autonomous neural tracker. I like it. I like the idea behind it. I like that you think about those things. That's really good. Another great day, huh, Sub D? I hope you're having a great day. Great channel community, dude. You guys are awesome. So the amount of breakdown you're doing on this probably doesn't need to be done. Is this all like a single bake? The high poly triangle count doesn't matter, which is good to know. Time taken, it's kind of interesting. Maybe having it in here would be good. And running things through XNormal, you can just put down here, which I find interesting. It's not down here. Nice. Now, see with the, so I take it these are the eyes, looks like it. If these are the eyes, I think in your render, if this is in, this might be just Photoshop, I would highlight and like put like a point light in front of the eyes so that you get a little bit of the normal map working for you. Just showing a little bit of that face. Battle Z, what's up? How you doing? Let's see what else we got going on here. So this one's pretty cool. Pretty heavy on the detail, but it's only on the underside, which is really interesting. The top looks really cool. So if this is your own design, I'm liking it. These wings are really interesting. I'd be curious to see how this moves. This looks like those wings could pivot, so it's kind of like as it moves forward and then has to stop, these arms would go back. Kind of like a helicopter. Yeah. Oh yeah. This looks pretty cool. These coins are lighting strangely. I think it's just like the normal is causing the lighting to kind of sphericalize words. That skull, something is either the skull is misshapen intentionally, or like that jaw is something serious. Oh, it's hard to tell. I know I'm not very good at this type of stuff, so something feels off about it though. Just in the way the proportions of the jaw area is and how far forward the teeth area comes forward. I'm like, what is that area? This thing here. This is pretty interesting. It's a little diorama almost. Diorama. So in this one, I think you're suffering from you're just being really careful with the amount of geometry you're using. I would use way more. Like this tube here, this like danger canister thing would probably be like, I don't know, 500 tries. Like enough that you're not seeing hard edges saying, oh, that's geometry. You know what I mean? So that one's also 3 years old. Are you rearranging these? You must be rearranging these because I saw another one just a minute ago that was 2 years old. So this is pretty cool. So this is an interactive VR like hub, I guess you'd want to call it that. Yeah, VR springboard. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I would think about like how the terrain can blend into these rocks. If you're paying for all of this geometry, you can totally just, let's see here. You can skirt that stuff, right? Show that it's embedded a little bit. Or like that the sand has blown up onto the rocks over time. Okay, we are actually running out of time, so I'm just gonna I think I'll just look at this one next. So this one looks a little bit better. I think your materials are still coming off like really heavily detailed. Like I would expect this to be quite smooth, and it looks to be a bit of noise. I know there's noise in the render, it looks like, but be careful with, like, try and depict the materials to what they are. So if this is metal and it's not painted, try and make it look like a metal surface, right? Maybe there's a few scratches in it, but relatively smooth, and you'll get that nice highlight along here. And then where there's these paint patterns, like that can be a different roughness. And the scratches that are on the metal that are subtle can be even more subtle as they get under the paint, because the paint's going to fill in that detail and smooth it out a little bit. Patosi, I think if you're posting on the Discord critiques right now, I don't know. I highly doubt I'll get to you. I almost guarantee it, because the list, I think there was like 50 messages by the time I walked in to look at where it was at. Oh, this angle's pretty cool. What are these lines? Thanks, man. Longview GI, I'm going to call you that from now on. How's it going? Dude, 19 months. Jesus Christ. Thanks, man. It means a lot, dude. I'll get a toy from Morrow because of that. A $5 toy. Oh, that's interesting. So the ends of these barrels is really confusing to me. Like, it's very harsh shaped and whatnot. Oh man, Tix, 8 months. Thank you very much. Design wise, this is pretty cool though. I like your designs. You're almost hitting the ratio, so you know. The high frequency to low frequency. Remember, 70-30. 70% chill, 30% madman. All right, let's get on to the next portfolio. I think if I were to suggest anything, it's paying attention to that ratio, continuing your design skills, because your designs are getting better as you go, and making sure that your materials, like the number one thing I think you need to work on is your materials. Understanding what materials look like and their differences between each other will be the biggest gain you can get, I think. So, yes. All right. All right, be right back.